Hello, I am Deborah Gonzalez, Senior Transportation Planner with the City of San Antonio Department of Transportation. On behalf of the city, I would like to thank you for your interest and involvement in the Culebra Road corridor study. Our goal is to identify mobility and safety solutions for all users of Culebra Road, from Loop 1604 to I-10. We look forward to showing you our proposed concepts, which are the result of the incredible feedback we have received from you. Your input in this process makes a difference because it helps inform the city's decision-making process regarding the improvements we seek for Culebra. So please review the information provided in this community open house, ask questions, and provide us your comments. Thank you.
Thank you for your interest in the Culebra Road Transportation Study and for joining this community open house. This pre-recorded presentation and other study information can be viewed at www.culebraroadstudy.org. There you can also sign up for study updates and provide your questions or comments. Today we are going to review the study location and key study goals. We will review the study timeline, and we want to tell you how the city engaged the community and how residents helped inform our process to understand key issues and challenges in order to ultimately identify a corridor vision. The bulk of this presentation will cover our proposed concepts based on what the city has learned. Finally, we will review how we would like to continue to hear from the community. The overall study location extends along Culebra Road from Loop 1604 to I-10. There are 5 key goals for the study. 1. Creating a safe corridor for all users of the street. 2. Transforming Culebra Road into an equitable and multimodal corridor for all, whether you walk, bike, take transit, or drive. 3. Coordinating and building on all past studies as well as any current studies and city initiatives. 4. Developing conceptual designs for short and long-term improvements that we will share in this presentation. Last but not least, meaningfully engage our community and stakeholders. The city began this study in March of 2021 and engaged with the community in the months that followed. The proposed concepts we will review in a moment are the result of your valued input and our data analysis. We look forward to your feedback on these concepts, and we will conclude this study at the end of the year. This corridor study is conceptual, and implementation is dependent on funding availability, among other factors. Final detailed designs will be developed through the bond project. In 2021, the city held focus group stakeholder meetings, community workshops, and a 3-month-long community visioning survey. We had nearly 600 participants, and the survey received over 2,500 map responses. This valued feedback helped us to clearly understand what works and what doesn't work in the corridor. The number one key issue we heard from the community and saw reflected in the technical data analysis was safety. Safety as folks walk, bike, drive, and take transit in the corridor. Between January 2017 and October 2020, there were nearly 3,500 crashes in the study area as mapped on this slide. These included 64 crashes involving pedestrians and 19 crashes involving bicycles. As we reviewed the corridor, safety was kept in the forefront to help achieve San Antonio's Vision Zero goal of achieving 0 serious injuries or fatalities on city streets. This provided the foundation for the Culebra Road corridor vision. The community clearly told us that the number one goal should be safety for all users of the street. Secondly, they told us to manage the traffic speed, slow down drivers, and provide better walking and cycling connections. In addition, we clearly heard the community wants to see shade and comfort settings along the street. This could include new trees, plantings, and other amenities. Also, residents want to celebrate the unique identity of the neighborhoods along the corridor. Lastly, the community clearly told us that this plan and its proposed concepts should help support local mom and pop businesses and create opportunities for economic development. Now, as we look in this corridor, we clearly see the 5 key segments, and we are going to walk through each of them one by one. Each segment will have 2 proposed concepts. No decision has been made on which concept will move forward, so please be sure to let us know what you like in your comments. The 2022 bond program allocated approximately $18 million that will support infrastructure improvements on Culebra Road from I-10 to Callahan Road. The bond project is pictured here as segments A and B. Across all 5 segments, there are overarching common improvements. 1. We clearly heard from the community the support for wider and protected sidewalks. 2. We heard the need for a continuous dedicated bicycle path that would be protected from the moving traffic as seen in the photograph labeled 2. 3. We heard the need for improved crosswalk connections and, where possible, new crosswalks at key locations such as near existing schools, trailheads, and other community destinations such as a grocery store. These improvements could include making the crosswalk distance shorter, allowing for longer crosswalk timing, and providing a pedestrian refuge area on shaded mid-block crossings. 4. The community asked us to incorporate improvements to transit facilities and their locations along the corridor. 5. Ensure shade via trees along the sidewalks as well as the medians. The 6th and last common improvement is to incorporate traffic calming devices. These improvements could include medians, trees, reduced travel widths, and better access management for vehicular traffic. The first segment to discuss in more detail is Segment A, which extends from I-10 to Bandera Road. It is about 120 feet wide and has 3 lanes of traffic in each direction with a turn lane in the middle. There is a mix of residential and commercial users with multiple driveways and very few trees. There are no bicycle lanes in this segment. The first concept for Segment A would include protected sidewalks and bicycle lanes on both sides of the street. These paths would be protected from moving traffic with tree-line planters. We also propose a median with trees in the middle of the street. This concept maintains the number of travel lanes within the existing right-of-way. The second concept for Segment A reduces the number of travel lanes from 3 lanes in each direction to 2 lanes in each direction. This will allow more space for folks to walk and bicycle along the street and will provide further opportunities for the shade and protection provided by new tree plantings. The second segment, Segment B, goes from Bandera Road to Callahan Road. It is a much narrower road, about 80 feet wide, and it has 2 lanes of traffic in each direction with 1 center turn lane. There is a mix of residential and commercial users on each side and very few trees. There are no bicycle lanes in this segment. The first concept for Segment B would add a shared use path on one side of the street, which would allow for pedestrians and cyclists to move comfortably protected with a tree line buffer. On the other side of the street, we propose a sidewalk. The second concept for Segment B would include protected sidewalks and bicycle lanes on both sides of the street. These paths would be protected from moving traffic with tree line planters. It has also been proposed to add a median with trees in the middle of the street. This concept maintains the number of travel lanes within the existing right-of-way. We are dividing Segment C into 2. We call them C1 and C2. Segment C1 extends from Callahan Road to Avenue G. It varies in right-of-way, going from about 85 feet wide to about 100 feet wide. It has 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. There are not a lot of sidewalks in this area, and several blocks of the road have homes that are located very close to the street. The first concept for segment C1 adds a tree line median and provides a tree line buffer space to protect folks walking and cycling on both sides of the street. This concept maintains the number of travel lanes within the existing right-of-way. The second concept for segment C1 provides for a sidewalk and 2-way bicycle lanes on one side of the street. On the other side of the street, we propose a greenway with stormwater planters. This is a design element that we clearly heard that the community would like to see in this area. Now to segment C2, which goes from Avenue G to Loop 410. It has about 80 feet of right-of-way with 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. It is predominantly commercial, and there are narrow sidewalks. There are no bicycle lanes in this segment. The first concept for segment C2 adds a tree line median to help calm traffic and provides a tree line buffer space to protect folks walking and cycling on both sides of the street. This concept maintains the number of travel lanes within the existing right-of-way. The second concept for segment C2 provides a shared use path for pedestrians and cyclists on one side of the street and a protected sidewalk on the other side of the street. The next segment, segment D, is from Loop 410 to Culebra Road. Currently, it is about 120 feet wide with 3 lanes of traffic in each direction and a center turn lane. This segment sees a mix of residential and commercial uses. While we do have sidewalks and bicycle lanes on both sides of the street, they are not buffered from the moving traffic. We heard from the community that folks do not feel comfortable walking or using their bicycle in this segment. The first concept for segment D provides for both bicycle and pedestrian paths on both sides of the street, as well as a tree line median in the middle that provides for access management and helps to calm traffic. The second concept for segment D adds the buffer of a planted tree line between the bicycle and pedestrian paths on both sides of the street. The final segment, segment E, stretches from Culebra Road to Loop 1604. It is about 120 feet wide with 2 lanes of traffic in each direction. This segment sees a mix of residential and commercial uses. There are narrow sidewalks and no bicycle paths. We clearly heard from the community that all concepts for this segment allow for protected bicycle and pedestrian paths in a greenway setting. So, our first concept for segment E reflects this vision. Folks can walk and bike safely and comfortably along these tree-lined corridors. We propose a median in the middle that allows for 2 rows of trees to grow. Our second concept for segment E is a little different, as we narrowed the proposed median to allow for more space for pedestrians and cyclists on both sides of the street. You can review all of these proposed concepts in our exhibits at the community open houses and download them at the virtual community open house. Thank you for joining us, and we would love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, please provide it by way of the options that are listed on the screen. Comments received by October 19th will be included in the official Community Open Houses report. However, we welcome comments through October 31st as they will be documented in the project file. Your feedback is important to us as it helps make the city's proposed concepts better. Thank you.